Where now do you sense an opening to future possibility?
Interventions, the projects, if you like, and I'm not a great fan of projects, you know, I'm interested in whole society change, but we need to learn from defined projects. The ones that work best are the ones that are based on connecting with other human beings. Because what you tend to get, I mean, if it's a project that's dealing with prisoners or reforming alcoholics or drug addicts or whatever, the first process is building trust. Because these people have had rough lives. They are where they are because they've had rough lives, and often it's because childhood has been very rough. They've not had a lot of people in their lives to trust. So building trust, and that shows that's a matter of showing concern for the individual. I'm here because I respect you and I want to help you. I'm not paid to be here, but you know, if you're in trouble, there's my phone number, phone me any hour of the day or night. You know, this is the classic Alcoholics Anonymous type of approach. I've been where you are, so I know what you're going through. Build the trust. Let the individual realize that they have choices. They can go back to the lives they had, or they can make new and better lives for themselves. And at that point, which myself and my colleague John Carnahan from the Violence Reduction Unit, you know, we call it the light bulb moment, you know. They realize they have to make a new life for themselves. Help them talk through the options. And when you get them through into one of those options, you will find that they'll come back and volunteer to help the next person through. So what I've learned from that is that the fundamental driver of change is, well, it sounds a bit, I hesitate to use the word love, but that probably, you know, because I'd rather find a more scientific word for it, but it's that connection between two people that shows, actually, I care for you because you are important. And that's the transformative process that goes on there. Giving someone who believes they're worthless a sense of their own worth. One of the projects, and gosh, it's so big that I could hardly call it a project, that I've been really impressed with, is an American project called the 100,000 Homes Campaign. They set out over 3 years to find homes for 100,000 rough sleepers. These are people sleeping under bridges and waste skips, you know, this kind of thing. And they tried, it was done entirely by volunteers, and they set up saying, okay, we have to be scientific about this. We have to triage these people because there'll be some people who need homes more urgently than others. So they had a questionnaire. Are you diabetic? Have you had frostbite? You know, are you an alcoholic or whatever? And the woman who set the project up said to me, this most important question they asked was the first question, which was, what's your name? Because that established that connection. And suddenly it wasn't just the guy we found sleeping under boxes under that bridge. It was Fred, who has a family back east he hasn't seen for 10 years, and if we get him in a house by himself, he might re-establish contact. And that, you know, that connection was the catalyst for change. And they made 100,000. And they've renamed the 100,000 Homes Campaign towards zero. Eradicate rough sleeping in the US. What a challenge. But they did that in about 3.5 years.
When I reflect back over our conversation, two themes seem to me to be constantly there throughout. There's this theme about science and inquiry and the world of rational analysis, but also this other theme about people and human connections and relationships, and you've used the word love as part of this. Putting all that together, what does that mean for the sort of leadership that we really need just now?
This is not unique. I mean, you can go back to Aristotle and Socrates for these kind of ideas that you know, society is a Greek word. And these guys had that concept that, you know, there is a science of society. And I think we need to rediscover that. We've let decisions in our society be made for the wrong reasons. You know, we're living through a time of austerity when it was judged that banks were too big to fail. And therefore banks became the most important thing in our society. No, people are the most important thing in our society. And children especially, because it's the children whose brains we develop into the thinkers of the 21st century who will get us out of trouble. We need every single, I mean, my aspiration is that every single child born in the world has full opportunity to achieve his or her full potential. Now, we're starting with Scotland and all of that, and hopefully we can use Scotland to catalyse change elsewhere. But, you know, I find that the leadership that's been shown, say about the African, or the refugee crisis in the Mediterranean, that's appalling. You know, instead of leaving people to drown in the Mediterranean, we should be helping them create a society back home that allows them to achieve their full potential. You know, don't try and turn them away, try and keep them where they are. The leadership that we need has to be that kind of transformative leadership that looks at these problems from a human standpoint and says, this is not the right way to run the world. And we don't have that yet. We don't have a Gandhi. We don't have a Nelson Mandela. We need someone of that stature to begin to question what is, I think, appallingly narrow-minded leadership that we're seeing in Europe and so on.
Ari, thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thanks.
Thank you.